Okay, I just took some pictures. The light beam is gone now. And actually, while I'm doing pictures and making links, I'll throw another one in. The most amazing picture I've ever taken, and one of the most amazing pictures I've ever seen, is of a cloud formation that I took some pictures of in Taiwan, and it was insane. You had you had half the sky was blue, half the sky was a thin, very thin layer of clouds that was kind of like serrated, like separated. It was just like very, very thin, kind of spread out. But they had lines of blue all the way throughout it because it was so thin. But it was a perfect sheet of clouds. And the blue sky, like perfectly blue sky, and cloud and all cloud sky, were separated by a perfect line down the center. Perfect line. So it was all blue to the left and all cloud to the right. And it was a solid line all the way from one horizon to the other. And then in the cloud side was a circle of blue with a giant like mushroom in the middle of it that looked like literally looked like kind of alien. It was like, and it was just it was crazy. And I took a good picture of it by I was on a bridge, and I think there's some like cables from the bridge. So there's cables on either side, and then I got the circle right in the middle. But you don't notice, if you look to the left of the circle, you'll see it's blue, and you look to the right of the circle, you see it's cloud. And then, yeah, it's like how I described it. It was all blue. On one half of the sky was blue, and the other half was cloud. And it had the circle in the middle. It was just, I kept thinking aliens too. I even to this day kind of think aliens when I see it, but I guess it was natural. I guess it wasn't really aliens. Well, I guess this isn't too bad of a spot for waiting for the sun to come up. So, yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, well, jeez, I was talking about something. I was talking about sex guy, yeah. No, guys on sports teams being more prone to be pigs. Oh, yeah. And my theory, this is just a theory, I don't know, don't start saying, don't start writing and saying, oh, I played basketball my whole life and I was on these teams and I'm a gentleman and blah blah blah. It's just a minor theory of mine, and I don't put a lot of faith in it, so don't worry. But my theory is that like guys that play on team sports like that, they end up spending so much time with guys that they don't have that much time to spend with women. And it's not homosexual; it's just the opposite of that actually. What they'll end up doing is when all the guys are together in the locker room or whatever, they'll be like making up stories. They'll be like, one guy will be like, oh yeah, I got laid on Saturday and blah blah blah. And then another guy will be like, oh, I had sex with 2 chicks on Saturday and blah blah blah. And then another guy is saying this. And the thing is all these guys are like, or the most of them are just making it up because they're trying to compete with the other guys. Maybe you got one or two guys that are telling the truth, and then the other guys are making up the stories to compete with them. And then you got dumb guys who are like listening to all this, and they're believing it, every word of it. They're believing that all these guys are getting laid, and they're not, and they don't understand why. And then every week or every couple of days, you know, if a lot of team sports they meet, they practice regularly. They're hearing all these guys bragging about all these things and talking about banging chicks, and this also helps desensitize them and to help, you know, objectify women. Listening to all these guys every fucking day talking about women as if they're meat. So their respect for women just goes down. And then for the guys that aren't getting laid, it's even worse for them because they're hearing all these other guys talk about women as if they're meat and talk about how much they're getting it, even when they're lying and exaggerating it, which makes the guys that aren't getting any and are too stupid to lie about it feel even worse. And then they end up going out and like raping some chick because they don't understand why everybody else is getting laid and they aren't, and they're just frustrated. And then I don't think, it doesn't seem to me that sports players would be very respectable people towards women. I guess if they're adults, they could just have the intelligence to work around it. But I don't know. It's a minor theory. Don't argue with me. If I'm wrong, yeah, that's fine. I'm wrong. I think there's a pretty good chance I could be wrong. But it just seems like a lot of the right ingredients are there to make a really disgusting male individual, especially considering that most males are disgusting to begin with. You get a lot of parks like this in Taiwan. You got a stage there, the people still doing the Tai Chi stuff. And you get a full-size track here with a full-size soccer field in the middle of it. And this isn't owned by anybody. There's no university here, or no school or anything. It's just a park that anybody can use. And I'm just some white guy with a full-face helmet and a camera. Don't mind me. Nothing to see here, folks. Move along.